Ever wondered what it asks like to bake bread the way medieval peasants did? Bread Sparkles join us as we explore the ancient grain einkorn and uncover how this ancient wheat, once the staple of peasants' diets, can transform your bread-making experience. Discover the rich flavors, health benefits, and secret to baking a truly unique loaf of bread just like they did in the past. Watch now to see how einkorn bread could be the future of your kitchen. Einkorn, often hailed as the world's first cultivated wheat, traces its origins back over 10,000 years to the Fertile Crescent, where early human civilizations first began to experiment with agriculture. Unlike modern wheat varieties, einkorn has remained relatively unchanged through the centuries, making it one of the oldest grains still in use today. Early farmers, particularly those in ancient Mesopotamia, domesticated einkorn due to its hardiness and adaptability to different climates, from the arid plains of the Middle East to the Mediterranean-s rocky terrain. Einkorn's name itself reflects its singular nature, derived from the German word ein meaning 1, and korn meaning grain, signifying the grain's distinct single seed spike. Ancient civilizations prized einkorn for its nutritional benefits. It is rich in protein, vitamins, and minerals, particularly B vitamins, iron, and magnesium. Unlike modern wheat, einkorn has a unique gluten structure, which some claim makes it easier to digest, even for those sensitive to conventional wheat. Historically, einkorn was the staple grain for many ancient peoples, including the Sumerians and Egyptians, who incorporated it into everything from flatbreads to porridge. In medieval Europe, peasants relied on einkorn as their primary source of sustenance, grinding it into flour to bake the rustic, dense loaves that would form the foundation of their diet. Although its use waned with the rise of higher-yielding wheat varieties during the Industrial Revolution, einkorn remained an essential part of rural life, especially in isolated farming communities. Today, as we look back at its humble yet vital role in human history, einkorn is experiencing a resurgence, with a growing demand for ancient grains and a desire to reconnect with traditional foodways. Einkorn is once again gaining popularity as a nutritious and flavorful alternative to modern wheat, allowing us to rediscover the simple bread recipes that sustained our ancestors. Medieval peasants relied on simple yet effective methods to bake their daily bread, often using the same practices passed down through generations. The bakehouse, usually a modest stone structure built near the home, was the heart of a medieval household, with limited access to modern conveniences, such as ovens or precise temperature control. Bread making was a labor-intensive process that required both skill and patience. In many cases, families would have a communal oven in the village, where they would bake their bread once a week to ensure they had enough for the days ahead. The process began with the grinding of grains. Unlike modern flour mills, medieval peasants used hand mills or large, circular stone mills that required significant effort to produce even small amounts of flour. Einkorn, being a harder wheat, demanded more time and effort to grind into flour, but it was well worth the effort due to its rich, nutty flavor and nutritional benefits. Once the flour was prepared, it was mixed with water, salt, and a small amount of leavening, often sourdough starter or wild yeast that had naturally accumulated in the environment. Kneading the dough was a strenuous task, often done by hand, and required a deep connection to the ingredients. Baking took place in simple wood-fired ovens. These ovens, made from brick or clay, were often heated with wood until the interior reached the right temperature, and the heat was maintained throughout the baking process. The bread was placed on flat stones or wooden boards and then slid into the oven, where it would bake for hours, producing a hearty, dense loaf. The bread had a thick, brown crust and a moist, chewy interior, providing essential sustenance for the peasants who worked tirelessly in the fields. The bread-making process was far from quick, yet it was a deeply ingrained tradition, connecting medieval peasants to the earth and their ancestors in ways that modern baking often cannot replicate. Einkorn stands apart from modern wheat in several remarkable ways, beginning with its genetic structure. While most modern wheat varieties have been selectively bred over thousands of years for higher yield and easier processing, einkorn has retained its ancient genetic makeup, making it a more primitive form of wheat. It contains only 2 sets of chromosomes, as opposed to modern wheat's 6 sets, which contributes to its unique properties. This simpler genetic structure is one reason why many consider einkorn to be a more natural grain, closer to what our ancestors would have used for bread. The gluten found in einkorn is also distinct from that of modern wheat. Unlike conventional wheat, which contains glutenin and gliadin proteins that are responsible for elasticity and rise, einkorn's gluten structure is weaker and more fragile. This makes einkorn bread denser and less airy than modern wheat bread. But it also results in a bread that is often easier to digest for those who are sensitive to modern gluten. For some people, this makes einkorn a more suitable option, especially for those who suffer from gluten intolerance, though it is not entirely gluten-free. In addition to its distinctive gluten structure, einkorn is richer in nutrients than many modern wheat varieties. It is packed with essential vitamins and minerals, including higher amounts of vitamin B3, niacin, vitamin A, iron, and magnesium. The higher antioxidant content in einkorn is also noteworthy, as it has been shown to contain more lutein and carotenoids, which are beneficial for eye health. Furthermore, the protein content in einkorn is higher than in most modern wheat, giving it a more substantial nutritional profile. When it comes to flavor, einkorn has a richer, nuttier taste compared to conventional wheat. This distinct flavor is a direct result of its ancient growing methods and simpler genetic profile, which many bakers and chefs find appealing. Its complex, earthy taste makes einkorn an ideal choice for artisanal breads, pastries, and other baked goods, offering a truly unique eating experience. When it comes to the taste of einkorn bread, the experience is a far cry from the light, fluffy loaves many of us are accustomed to today. Einkorn's dense, hearty texture and rich, nutty flavor make it a distinct and memorable choice for anyone seeking a more authentic, rustic bread. Unlike modern wheat, which has been bred for high gluten content and soft, airy textures, einkorn retains a natural density that is satisfying and filling. The bread has a thick, golden brown crust that gives way to a moist and slightly chewy interior, offering a depth of flavor that can only come from an ancient grain. The flavor profile of einkorn bread is complex and earthy, with subtle nutty and slightly sweet notes. Some people describe the taste as being somewhat buttery, thanks to its high protein and fat content. The nuttiness of the bread comes from the oils naturally present in einkorn's wheat, which haven't been lost during the milling process. Unlike the more refined modern wheat, this richness adds to the bread's satisfying, whole grain flavor, making it a more filling and nutrient-dense choice compared to lighter, commercially produced breads. One of the key elements that sets einkorn bread apart is its ability to absorb flavors well, allowing it to pair beautifully with a variety of spreads, from butter and honey to savory toppings like cheese or olive oil. The bread's structure, while denser, also holds up well for hearty sandwiches, providing a substantial base without being overwhelming. The mild sweetness of the bread, combined with its natural earthy undertones, makes it versatile enough for both sweet and savory dishes. For those accustomed to the smooth, soft texture of highly processed bread, einkorn offers a richer, more complex taste experience. It has a bread that speaks to simpler times, offering an authentic taste of what our ancestors might have enjoyed, with a flavor that reflects the grain's ancient roots and the traditions of old-world baking. In recent years, einkorn bread has experienced a revival as modern bakers and consumers alike seek out ancient grains for their health benefits, sustainability, and unique flavor profiles. As people become more conscious of their food choices, there has been a growing interest in returning to heritage grains like einkorn, which offer a more natural, nutrient-dense alternative to the highly processed wheat commonly used in today's commercial baking. Einkorn's rich history and superior nutritional content have made it a standout among other ancient grains, and it has found a place in the kitchens of home bakers, artisanal bakeries, and health-conscious foodies. One of the most compelling reasons for einkorn's resurgence is its nutritional value. Compared to modern wheat, einkorn contains higher levels of protein, fiber, and essential vitamins and minerals, including vitamin A, iron, and magnesium. This makes einkorn a more nourishing choice for those looking to boost their intake of whole grains and improve their overall diet. The increased awareness of gluten sensitivity has also led many to turn to einkorn, which, although not gluten-free, is believed to be easier to digest due to its weaker gluten structure. This has made einkorn an attractive option for people with mild gluten intolerance, though it is important to note that it is not safe for those with celiac disease. Einkorn's environmental impact is another reason it is gaining favor in modern baking. Unlike mass-produced wheat varieties, einkorn is typically grown in more sustainable farming practices, often using fewer pesticides and requiring less intensive farming techniques. This makes einkorn not only a healthier choice for individuals but also a more eco-friendly alternative for the planet. Looking to the future, einkorn bread has the potential to become a staple in modern kitchens, particularly as consumers increasingly seek out alternatives to highly refined, commercially produced bread. With its rich taste, nutritional benefits, and sustainable farming practices, einkorn bread may not just be a fleeting trend but a timeless choice that reintroduces an ancient tradition to the modern world. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more amazing insights into ancient baking techniques, healthy recipes, and sustainable food practices. Stay tuned and join our community of passionate food lovers. See you in the next video.